girl Alicia, the host of Black Girls Den podcast, a safe space where we keep it real, raw, and relatable. So it's just like sharing a meal with your closest friends. Every episode, we come together to break bread and nourish our minds and souls. And today I have a lovely guest, Sonia, with me. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too. Yeah, so I'm Sonia. I guess I can say I'm a self-appointed self-care evangelist, so it's all about self-care. And I've been in the process of deconstructing my faith and then reconstructing it for what makes more sense.
Yes, I love that. So today, if you didn't know, we'll be talking about modesty, morals, and marriage from a Black Christian girl modern perspective. And I thought you were the perfect one to come on because I seen a post. Do you remember the post that you wrote?
I've written several, so you remind me.
It was a post about
sharing.
it was a post about kind of like growing up, how you were talking about like literally like trying to like dress for yourself instead of like dressing for your partner or something like that, and like how the church.
I remember. I think in that post I mentioned that during the women's ministry, they told us about not dressing sexy.
Yes.
And that dressing sexy was only for your partner.
Yes.
So be careful wearing Victoria's Secret to work and all of that. And I thought that makes no sense. Why can't I be sexy for me?
Period.
Just for me.
Yes, like be sexy for ourselves.
Yes,
so I thought to have her on there.
Yes.
So yes,
Awesome.
We're excited to get into that. But before we get into that, I just want y'all to know a little bit how it's going to go. So we're going to start with a little Den Diaries. That's going to be like our appetizer. Then we're going to get into our discussion where we really get to it. That's going to be like our meal. And then we're going to end with our Den Disclosure where we tell y'all something real raw and relatable. Okay. So yes, let's get into our Den Diaries, where we relate our life to a show. Okay. So the show that we're going to talk about is Greenleaf. I thought it was a perfect collaboration for this type of podcast or this episode. Church girl, okay? Yeah. So let us know if you watched it. I know it got canceled, so if you have not seen it, go watch it. If you have a chance. I think it's on Netflix now, but nevertheless, I want to know who's your favorite character and who you relate to most. Let us know in the comments. And I'll let you go first on who you relate to.
Grace.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So Grace grew up in the church, grew up in that environment, left, found herself, I guess, found her own journey, and then came back and ended up taking over the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I did a 2-part fold because, it is called Black Girls Den and then we're a woman. So I said being younger, I could relate to Sophia, just like trying to walk for the Lord, like very modest, very like, oh, don't do this, But my favorite was Zora because she was living life on the edge. And if you don't know who Zora is I almost Lovey Simone, and she's actually in Forever. Yeah. And she plays a little life on the edge too.
I just related.
So that's her character. But like she was like, well, she was fun. I mean, she was going off of Isaiah. Now he wasn't a good boy, but she was just like, I want to have fun. Like she wanted to see that. And so sometimes as a young person, being that I grew up in church and I was so like, okay, go to church, go. Like it was never like, okay, let me just see what it's like to just live. I don't want to say life on the edge. Like, let's just go out and have fun. Like if I want to go to a club or if I want to do drugs, not too much on the crazy, but
so to try things, your own experience.
Yeah, but it's like it's so sheltered that you don't try. So that was when I was a young girl. Now, as a grown woman, I feel like my favorite character is Lady May. Okay. But I love Jennifer Lewis, so I'm biased. But baby, she played her role. Yeah. And I think it's very relatable because as a Christian woman, like growing up in the church and being a woman, I feel like you're always in the public eye. Like you're in the public eye as a Christian. And so you always have to have this perfect image and stuff like that. Like you can't let nothing tear you down. And sometimes I just feel like it's hard for us to show our feelings and show who we want to be. Yeah. And it's like people forget that we're human at the end of the day. And so I feel like it's just like, okay, like, it's going to be okay. Pray about it. Like, but you can still be human. You can still be human. But as like a first lady and stuff like that, you just got to like put on your church hat and go on and do what you do. And it's also going to be relatable. If you have not seen this, I don't want to give too much of spoilers, but like Divorce Sisters, LaToya Luckett, who actually was in Greenleaf, is in Divorce Sisters, and she's playing a pastor's wife. In the first episode, I could just see no feelings. She's a pastor's wife, and she just has to keep it moving and be like this perfect. Well, she has to keep with this perfect image of like this is my husband, the church and stuff. So I necessarily don't relate as a first lady because that's not what I am. Mm-hmm. But relating to like, seeing like how you're a Christian, like you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to be like this, so that would be me. For like my favorite character is Lady May. Yeah, for that one. So.
Yeah, and having been a first lady, that is a difficult position. It is, the target is on your back. People are gunning for you. Mm-hmm. And it's just because you're married to the pastor.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't want to be the pastor. I'm not be the pastor.
Yeah, like.
But then, I feel like it's twofold because sometimes pastors do be doing a lot of stuff. But it's like, the first lady has to deal with like, even if it's the women or not the women, the attitudes, then they have to be so nice. And then if they're getting mean, like, first lady is mean, it's like, no, she has to be protective. Yes. She has to like,
first lady didn't speak to me when she came in.
Like, okay, I have 1,000 other things on my mind.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand. Yeah. So, Well, that kind of leads us into our then discussion. Okay. The first question is, how did growing up in a Black Christian household shape your morals, views on love, dating/marriage?
Okay, so growing up in a Christian household, myself and I had 4 other siblings. Mm-hmm. I'm the oldest. Okay. My parents were very lovey-dovey. Mm-hmm. Like, my mom and dad flirted. So I saw that level of love in their marriage. And then we are still very lovey-dovey, very, very close. Mm-hmm. As far as marriage goes, I'm glad I had my parents' marriage to look to. Church taught get married. Mm-hmm. As a woman, you need to get married. Mm-hmm. Dating, we did not talk about dating. Even at home, it was, no, you date to marry when you get a certain age and are old enough. But at church, we never talked about dating. What is that? Yeah. It was like, what's this? He that findeth a wife, findeth a good thing. So you were waiting in church to be found by someone.
And the man never in church.
Yeah, and then when the man who's in church finds you, he turns out to be...
the worst ones!
Yeah,
the worst ones, child. We're going to get to that later.
Yes.
That's my...
the worst ones. Yes.
You don't mind me asking, how long were your parents married or how?
So my parents were married 51 years when my mom passed.
Oh.
Like, I wanted that marriage. Like, I wanted that kind of marriage. Yes. So I've been married twice, divorced twice.
I'm crying. I'm not laughing at that. I know how you saying it though.
I'm good though. Yeah. But I wanted that kind of relationship. And I don't know, I strived for that. And when I got divorced, I felt like such a failure. Yeah. Because in church, it's like divorce is bad and God hates it. And but it's like, it's not working. Yeah. Am I supposed to just stay here and be unhappy? So, yeah.
Yeah, and then to your point, I'm going to add, because how we talk, like, you don't learn about dating, so it's just like, you find a man, you're like, that's my husband.
Yeah,
I think that's wrong for women. And it's like, we talk about courting, but then also, it's like, the man's supposed to lead, but it's like, a man is in lead, and then you have to kind of navigate that. And even in my life, like, I don't think I really started dating after I got out of college. I should have been dating in college. Yeah. Like, even in like when I grew up, my parents have been married for like 30-something years, 35 almost or whatever. But like they didn't talk about dating. But my dad's like, you got to get married and stuff like that. But it's just like you didn't teach us like how to date, what to look for in a man, what to do. So it's like I'm out here on my own, but you're like get married. And my dad's like, where grandkids at? I'm like, where the man at? Right. I can't have kids without the man.
Right.
So. I do get to that, and it's like, you're not supposed to date. You're supposed to like focus on school, but it's like I focus on school so much because gosh, I got grades, and it's like now you want grandkids, and then you can't go nowhere. So, from my perception, I would say how did growing up in a Black Christian household, it definitely shaped my morals and values because I was always around people at church. I was always around. I was always going to church. I was always like, at church. My dad's a minister, so I would say it kind of shaped my morals. I don't really say it shaped my views on love or dating or anything like that, but also my parents was married, so I see a different perspective. Now I do know some people they weren't married, so a lot of people in the church were married, and a lot of women in the church were not married. There's single women.
Yeah, a lot of single women in the church, a lot of single older women, and for me it was like, why didn't y'all ever get married? I don't think I guess after a certain age they just gave up and committed to the Lord.
Yeah, but it's so sad because it's like you say go to church or whatever, find a man. It's like then you have all these single women there, and then they're looking for the man at the church. And what people say, the men ain't at the church, and the men at church, child, you don't want all them.
They're best.
So
and then they throw that "don't be unequally yoked" scripture, so you don't go out and find somebody who's not at your church. But that's not what that scripture meant. It wasn't so much about relationships and things. Go out, y'all.
Yes, go out.
Go out.
So I would say that it didn't really like change my views on marriage because I grew up with my parents being married. Yeah. Not really about dating and love, but they did talk about, well, you know, like, oh yeah, you marry someone and that's kind of what you do. But I would say it more helped me with like my morals and values. Like, okay, maybe I should look for a man with a good, kind heart. Maybe I should look for a man like that. I would say more about like TV shows and different things like that. That kind of led me on that one, but not really too much about Black Christian household because we didn't really talk about dating and kids. Now my dad talks about it now more because we're older, but like we didn't really talk about that.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. So here's another one. This one's kind of big.
Okay.
How was modesty defined in your household or church growing up?
Now, modesty in the house and at church. Don't show your cleavage. Your skirt had to be below your knees. Don't wear nothing sleeveless. It was to the point where like we couldn't wear toe out or heel out shoes. Yeah, it was crazy. No makeup, no nail polish. No, for a long time, no jewelry. Like I didn't get my ears pierced till I was like in high school.
What?
And I begged my mom to talk to my dad so I could get my ears pierced.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. What? So I know you grew up Christian, but what denomination?
Church of God in Christ.
Okay, Kojic.
Pentecostal.
The Pentecostal apostolic, baby, they little strict.
Clark Sisters background. That's the church.
I was going to say that. I thought that you do have to wear long skirts. I know my brother. I actually did go to Kojic church. He's like, you gotta dress, baby. That church ain't for me. Dressed up 6-inch heels and skirt. No, thank you. I like non-denominational. I grew up Baptist, so I could wear whatever I wanted to.
Much more lenient.
Very much more lenient. Yeah. I don't think modesty was taught so heavy, but I think that it was kind of implied through like my mom or my parents, like, oh, don't show your boobs, or like, oh, that's too short, or like you need to get long. I'm like, is it too short? It's legs or whatever. But I do know that I went to a couple of churches that they'd be quick to throw that. I went to a church, they would throw that thing. And it's always about like, well, it used to be. I don't know if it's necessarily now, but I was like, oh, you don't want to sell yourself, like you don't want to make men tempted. Well, men need to get their eyes. Problem. The men need to get their eyes together. Not me get my outfit.
That's not my problem.
It's not on
me.
If
my knee is causing him some discomfort, that's on him.
Yeah, and even in school too, it's like, oh, you can't wear spaghetti straps. It's like I should be able to wear whatever I want to. Like it should imply that it's a shoulder. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the Auntie podcast, but they was like we have to get out there. Like dang, they was like, well, maybe nobody talking to you because you ain't showing. You ain't showing no shoulder. You ain't showing no legs.
No knee, no leg. Okay. I mean, it was to the point like we had to wear stockings.
Yeah, I hate stockings.
I always thought the stocking is the same color as my leg.
Yeah.
Why do I have to wear this stocking? Your legs had to be cut wide. That made no sense.
Yeah, one thing I will say, I don't know if it's modesty, they were like, oh, close your legs. Like, of course, you know, but it's like, close your legs. Like, that was something like, if you wear skirts, like, close your legs, sit like a lady and stuff like that.
Like all
and that's why I be sitting like this now. So I think, now modesty with like social media is like, okay, you don't want to show this on Instagram or show this on social media. Like, you got to wear this. And I'm just like, you know, if I want to show my boobs, I can show my boobs. If I want to show my legs, I can show my legs. Like,
it is what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
That's what you're comfortable with. Now, even now, so I've gotten, I wear shorter skirts. I'm short. I'm 5'2". Yeah. Why would I wear a skirt to my ankle? You know how silly I would look. So I do like a shorter skirt, but I still, even getting out of that, it is still hard for me to wear a sleeveless shirt.
Oh, okay.
I still feel really self-conscious, like somebody's looking at my shoulders.
Are you Church of God in Christ still?
No. Actually, as of this year, I left Kojic and I am non-denominational.
Period.
Yeah. Okay. So I can wear pants to church every Sunday, y'all. And I am too excited.
Yeah. I was like, how do you feel? I don't know. You can share it if you want, but like, you were talking about deconstructing. How do you feel about that? Like leaving Kojic and like going.
It was a hard decision. I've been Kojic all of my life, so 53 years. My parents went to their first Kojic church where they stayed forever. I think I was 2 or 3 weeks old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that is all I've known all of my life. And then during COVID was when I started my deconstruction. We weren't in church. You had to watch online. And it was really about your own, I guess, learning and reading the Bible for yourself, studying for yourself. I joined this Bible study that's held by a doctor of the New Testament, so a Bible scholar, and listening to her break the word down in a totally different way than what I was used to, I just kind of started to disconnect. And started to just like, no, that was wrong. They shouldn't have taught that. Like just different things that made no sense. And that's when I started the journey, and this year finally just cut ties.
I'm happy for you. That's exciting.
I am too. Yeah.
I'm not, there's no shade to Kojic because I didn't grow up Kojic, but I went to a couple Kojic churches. Only thing I gotta say is, baby, they be doing too much. First jurisdiction, second jurisdiction. I be like, child, how many people is on here? You got first, you
got the bishop and the this and the that. Yeah.
And that's why I think growing up, that's why I don't really think that I wasn't Pentecostal, but I know people was apostolic. You had to wear skirts, you can't. And sometimes I feel like you are kind of too boxing. That's why I'm thankful I was raised Baptist. Like Baptist, I feel like you had a little bit more freedom when you were Baptist. Like I could wear. I don't think I could wear jeans to church, but on a Wednesday night, I'm wearing jeans, I'm wearing pants, like I'm doing whatever.
We could not wear pants.
Even on Wednesdays.
We could not wear pants, period.
Yeah,
like to school, nowhere.
Oh, to school.
Nowhere. At home. I didn't own a pair of pants till I was in my 30s.
Oh, what?
And my sister bought them for me.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
We could only wear dresses. We could not wear pants at all.
I would be looking crazy, baby. But how did your family how did they respond to you saying like you weren't Kojic no more?
So I was the only one left in Kojic. Like my other siblings had already gone. My dad is still Kojic. He is not.
He's not leaving.
He's not.
Did you tell him that? Did you tell him?
Yeah, he knows. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was cool. My parents have always been good with us making our own journey, making our own way, finding salvation for ourselves.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
So within that, we talked about modesty, but I wanted to add another word in here.
Okay.
So how do you think the conversation around modesty/purity was empowering or shaming for you as a young Black girl?
Shame. Oh my God. We were taught almost not so much to love our bodies as a creation of God, and we are fearfully and wonderfully made. But it was about shame. It was about hiding. I got to cover everything because I don't want the people in the pulpit, the men in the pulpit to feel a certain way. And the onus was on us. The onus was on us as far as modesty. There are no modesty rules for men. None that I know of. All the modesty rules fall on women. Yes.
And that makes me think like men are the predators. We're not doing anything.
We're just existing in our own bodies.
Like why can't they can do whatever they want to.
And it doesn't matter what you put on. I could have on a skirt down to here, shirt up to here, down to my they're still gonna.
And there's women down and they still get in.
Yes.
And baby, they ain't showing
nothing.
A foot. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
What about leaning into like that purity, like you know how they tell you like not to have sex till marriage and like being pure and stuff like that.
So that was really again pushed on the girls. You know, don't no man want to marry someone who's not a virgin. But that same message wasn't given to the guys
at all.
Don't no female want to marry a guy who's not a virgin. No, the guys was like, sow your wild oats. Girls was like, you gotta stay a virgin. You gotta stay pure. Like, don't kiss. Don't hold hands. Don't be caught up, with someone of the opposite sex by yourself. Because, anything can happen. So I was scared of sex. Like, y'all, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah. As soon as you do it, you're gonna get pregnant. Like, that was hard. Like, that was hard to break that pattern of thinking.
Yeah, I feel like it puts fear in us and stuff like that too. And then also it's like, okay, but you're not telling the men anything. So it's like women who y'all having sex with? Who y'all having sex with? And then it's always a shame. Like I don't want to give too much away about stories, but there's also a shame like women getting pregnant. But that man had to impregnate her.
Right. And so why is the woman standing in front of the church apologizing?
16-year-old.
Where is the dude?
Like,
because she didn't do it by herself. Mary is the only immaculate conception.
Okay. Where's
the guy?
And they're not held to the same standard.
No.
And I'm like, if the woman is supposed to be deprived, why are we making it seem like men are supposed to be deprived?
Yes.
Like it's crazy and sad. And there's so much misogyny in the church. It's so sad.
It is so. That's like a whole other.
Yes, a whole nother one. So let us know if you want to talk about that.
So in the Baptist church, what was purity?
Yeah, well,
same ideas.
Yeah, I would say that it was like don't have sex till you're married. Like, when you get married, you're supposed to have kids. but of course, I know people who had kids before they was married, and so that's the weird dynamic, because you're taught like don't have sex before you're married, and then you be seeing people with kids and stuff. You be like, well, they're not married, that's right. And then also, I mean, my parents know my parents had my brothers before they was married. Like so then it's like, okay, but you're telling me this, so they're like, well, we want you to be better and stuff like that. So I think purity within the like Christian household, what you're telling us, like. It's not that I didn't love myself or I didn't know my body, but it's kind of like, okay, like, what is this for? What is this? Like, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. So I think purity, I think it's cool. Like, I think it's a cool concept if it's taught to both.
Yeah,
genders.
If it's taught to both genders the same way.
Yes, but it's not taught, so it's like, okay, it's like be pure, like, not that like, oh, I don't want to like, oh, he don't want to mess with me because I done slept with 5 people. I don't think that's cool, but if you're saying to like live under, like God's word, like be pure, like pure heart, pure kind, like just be a pure, nice person, be a pure, kind person. Like, I don't think it should be like, oh, don't have sex before you're married. Instead, like they're doing in this new show that I want to tell forever, like talk about to your sons, talk about consent, talk about the RAPE word, like talk about different, talk about the risk, like, hey, if you do have sex, you can get pregnant. I'm too scared, baby, STDs out here and everything like that. Like, talk about that stuff instead of like putting fear.
Instead of saying don't have sex.
And like have conversations, because now that's not going. No. So
and I have to say, with my children, I talked to, like, when they got to like 12, 13, puberty, I had a book. We went through anatomy with boys and girls. Like, I talked to them together. When they went off to college, I'm no fool. Like, I'm not going to, you're not having, no, here's some condoms. Yeah. Let me know if you need some more. Girls and boys got them. Like, let's,
No, my parents wasn't that open, but
I was.
But that's something in your like coaching to not think that. Yeah, well, I was like, I feel like in that part, I was like, baby, I'm not getting pregnant because I'm not going back home. So baby, I was like, child, I'm not going back home. Now I think that's what it is. I'm not going back home, baby. Ain't no pregnancy gonna get me. Okay, no pregnancy.
Well, my kids they all went away, far away to school, and none of them moved back home once they graduated. So they had already decided they wasn't coming back home.
Yeah, so baby, I was baby was like,
no baby, that's just
okay, baby, I got to go because I live a little too close. Because if I would have got pregnant, I'd be like, you can come home. Oh no, baby, no, thank you. But no, I don't even like. I've learned to, like, you get your like period or whatever in like 7th, 8th grade. Like, so I had health class and stuff like that. But I don't think that well, I don't think my mom had a conversation with me, but I would have a conversation with my daughter when she has like her periods and like that. But it's just like, oh, like you're about to bleed, like that's okay. But it's like, okay, what is that? And it's like, oh, well, dang, now you can have kids. Yeah. And so I don't think that correlated with me for real. Like, oh, I'm about to have a period, now I can have kids, child. Because people was pregnant in middle school. Yeah. So it was crazy. But so I didn't really know too much about it. But now that like you understand it and you can talk about it, I would do, even now I'm thinking, like, if I have a daughter, like, I'll do a period part. Like, I think it's kind of cool to, like, celebrate, like, you're a woman. Like, that's even
It's nothing to be ashamed of. Because, again, we've made even the cycle a shameful thing.
And I think that women should get a day off when they're on their cycle.
I do, too.
I can't wait to run for president. But yes, but even black girls, then like we're grown now, but it's also that safe space for a girl. Like that's one of the main things that turn you into a woman is when you have a cycle. Because baby, now you can get pregnant.
And that needs to be explained.
So I definitely think that is something, and then they don't even talk about that in church.
No,
they don't talk about
anything to do with sex, sexuality is taboo. We are not talking about that.
Yeah, but they want to talk about everything else.
Everything else, yeah.
I do want to ask this question, to lighten the load. How do you personally balancing looking and feeling confident while staying true to your values or your morals?
I wear what I feel comfortable with.
Okay.
I go where I feel comfortable. I'm not so rigid. So I enjoy life. Yeah. And I enjoy pleasure. And I know a lot of times in church we equate pleasure with something sexual. No, just what makes me happy. What brings me pleasure in my life.
Yes. Yeah. I would say, I balance looking and feeling confident. Well, I wear what I want to wear. Yeah. I don't really think too much about it. Like, if I feel like, okay, this is too short, I still might wear it. I don't know. Yeah. Like, if it's like, okay, it's too much boob, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to wear this here or do this, that. Like, I do think about some things, but if, like, I'm about to go on vacation, baby, ain't no clothes.
2-piece.
Well, okay, ain't no clothes. clothes. Like,
two-piece.
So I think that's too, like, it is like a time and a place. Like, I'm not going to really, like, wear so much short clothes to church in reverence, but, like, I think it just depends. And what's true to my values and stuff like that and my morals. Like, I'm still not just out here like, okay, I'm just going to, like, be out here just wearing, like, no clothes to work or something like that. Like, I'm not going to do that. But I feel like, I feel like whatever I'm comfortable in, I have my style. I learn my style. That's another thing, too. Like, just learn your style, what you want to wear, and figure out what looks good on your body. And that's, how you can build your confidence up, your hair and stuff like that. What you want to wear, if you want to be short, if you want to be long. Like, just doing all that stuff. Because I know sometimes... Well, people wasn't able to wear earrings, or they're not able to cut their hair or stuff like that. Like cut your hair. If you're a woman or whatever, like
my mom cut her hair and she dyed it red.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, the church mothers was going in.
Yeah.
And she said, my husband likes it, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also like, it's like, okay, but do you like it? Well, she did like it, but like, yes.
Are you? Why is my hair bothering you?
Yeah.
Do you wish you could do yours?
Yeah, and then they can't. And they can't, and so that's the issue. Like, okay, you can't rock it like me, or you can't do it because you just feel so convicted about it. It's like, if you don't feel convicted about it, then why are we not doing it? So that's good. So we're gonna get into real topic. So that was little morals, little modesty. We're going to get into marriage, and you said you have been married a couple of times. So I want to know within our community, as we talk about church, Christian girls, black girls, like, why do you think so many single women romanticize marriage?
Because that is the ultimate prize for the female in church. Not only female in church, I think overall romantic movies, and now we throw in social media, and we see these wonderful couples, and they're on social media having dinner, going on dates, traveling. And so it's like, that's the dream, to get married, to have someone provide for you, to have someone protect you, to have someone cover you, and then of course to build a family. So I think,
Okay. I agree. I think, like, in the Christian thing, that what we're saying earlier, like in the church is like, get married, get married. And then it's like, who
no
getting
one
married
can
to?
be single.
Yeah, but then everybody in the church is single. So who's that?
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Ellie, you kind of answered it too. I was going to say, how do you think social media influences our idea of what marriage should look like?
It is very, social media, I think, again, people show on social media what they want you to see. So not everything on there is true to what they're living outside of that post that they made about them going out to dinner. We don't see arguing on social media. We don't see disagreements. We don't see one person growing this way and another person moving another way. We always just see what's been, put together for the purpose of social media.
Yes.
So it tells a totally different story than what's going on in the house.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah, people are getting divorces, but you don't even know. Yeah. And then they're showing this, and they're doing social media, stuff like that. That's why I actually, I got off TikTok for a little bit, or I got off Instagram. I can't remember. One thing I said, I can't keep seeing these, like, I don't want to say happy marriages, but I can't keep seeing these marriages as like a single person, like, or seeing these families, because not that I was envying them, it's like, you see so much, it's like, it's just all being your thing. It's like, okay, I'm single, like, I'm living, like, I don't have kids, I'm not married, so I'm like, I don't want to just keep seeing that on my algorithm, seeing that on my algorithm, like, it's just overwhelming at one point in time.
And then you may feel like, because you keep seeing that and you're single, then what's wrong with me? Why aren't I? You know? But I've learned from being married, divorced, in my singleness, that's not a problem to solve. Me being single is not a problem to solve.
It's not a problem to solve.
It's not. That. No. I'm single because I'm single.
Yeah, right. It's your choice.
It's just what it is.
But I feel like a lot of people, well, some people are so pick me, stuff like that. They try to like throw jabs at single people, like,
they do.
I'm married, so like, Yeah. Just because you're married, are you happy? Is he cheating on you?
That's the question. Just because you're married, are you happy? Do you sleep in the same bedrooms? I know married couples who are in
different bedrooms.
Yeah, you're roommates.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because I don't know if you watched this episode, but it was with the Kill Steal, whatever. She was talking about how she ironed her clothes for her son.
So he could
cheat. So there was a therapist on there when she was like, when they had a live interview, she was like, yeah, but are you happy? Were you happy? Like, she's like, the whole goal is to have happy relationships. Somebody in the comments was literally like, no, the goal isn't to be happy, the goal is to be holy.
What?
Yes.
So in our holiness, we give up being happy.
But
I can kind of see that in some of the things we were taught. There's no pleasure on earth. We're living holy here so that we get our pleasure when we get to heaven.
I want to live both.
But why can't we have it? Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I can have pleasure here on earth. Yeah. I can be happy on earth.
And I said, like, they're so far gone that why would you not want to be happy? Like, oh, we live holy, that's another thing. Like, oh, holy, even like if your husband is cheating on you, something like that, it's like, oh, well, you're still married. Like, but God says you can get a divorce for adultery.
Yeah. And then too, we got to be mindful of how we interpret scripture. The scripture on adultery was more geared toward the men because the men were just divorcing their wives for little silly things. And so that's why Jesus talks about, okay, guys, you can get divorced in the case of adultery. But then we've got to remember this was Bible times. We got to understand the context and the culture of that time. And we can't put policy over people. Because if the only way to get divorced is if somebody commits adultery, what if somebody's beating on somebody?
Look, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
what if you're getting beaten? You can't
people over policy.
I love that, put people over policy. But then also to your point, like to you just saying that because I didn't really know the context clearly. But even to you say that men was getting divorced for dumb stuff. Women won't, but a woman can't even get divorced because her man is mean to her. Yeah. Cause
Okay, emotional abuse is a thing.
Literally.
Emotional abuse is a thing.
Literally. Like, I don't know if you watched LaToya on her show. Well, she had a show and her and Tamika's when he got divorced. He was being so mean to her. Yeah. When she was, it's like, no, like, I don't have to stay into something. No. So that's why I'm like, you don't want to get a divorce and that looks bad, but baby, if somebody, not even cheating on you, if somebody's if somebody is abusing you, like, no, get a divorce. Like, I'm over that, like, I gotta be married to stay married for an image. Bye image. My only image is me.
I have to be honest. I stayed married a long time in my second marriage for image. My husband was a preacher. He was a pastor. Here I am, a missionary, an evangelist in the Church of God in Christ. And it's like, people believe because the two people are saved and we love God and we're living holy and we're in church that we shouldn't get divorced. But we're human. Yeah. And we're fallible. And we experience things, and it can break up the marriage.
So what Lady May was.
And so for so long, I'm trying to hold on to this image, and we're smiling out at the conventions and all of this, and going home and being miserable.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I know. No,
I can't. I couldn't live like that. I couldn't live like that.
No, so that's good. So you did talk about being married. You talked about divorcing. I want to talk about kind of like before you got married, like what you thought. Like, what does being ready for marriage actually mean? Like, what do you think the difference is between emotional ready and spiritually ready for marriage?
So, I wish I would have known this the first time I got married. Being spiritually ready, to me now, having been married and matured and a lot, means that God is in every part of my life.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I'm super deep. It doesn't mean I know the whole Bible. It just means that I have a relationship with God, and God is a part of my life. The emotional side is I've worked through trauma. I've worked through my little quirks and things, and I'm okay with me. I'm complete. Yes. So I'm not getting married for somebody to complete me.
Yes, say that again, please.
I'm not getting married for somebody to complete me.
Yes, you have to be whole.
We're two whole beings who come together, not two halves that come together.
Yes.
I am complete in who I am. Yes. I am whole. I would hope that other person is complete in who they are and whole. And then we come together as a unit.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. I think people miss it. They're like, I'm not like, I need to find my missing piece. No, baby.
No.
You're the whole entire piece. Like, you just need to find somebody else to put a part of your life.
Yeah, to just not complete you, but complement you.
Yes. I definitely like that. Yeah. And I was thinking that because so many people think they're ready for marriage, but it's like, are you really ready for marriage? Like, are you really ready for the conversations? Are you really ready to be vulnerable? Like, are you really ready to all that stuff? And
are you ready for somebody to live in your space?
Yes. I be telling my friends, like, now I am single. I be like, enjoy this time because, like you said, like, I'm going to have a time where I just can't. I be going to dinner on a Monday night, Tuesday night. Baby, I'm going to have to start giving back to my children. Like, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to start doing homework, child.
Yes. Enjoy your singleness.
Yes. And
it's not a problem to solve.
And I don't feel like Christian women really enjoy the singleness. I feel like we're always chasing, but they're always chasing, like, when am I going to find my man? When am I going to find my man?
When's he going to find me? me? When's he gonna show up? It's a new man in church. Is he mine?
Yeah, okay, oh yeah. Or like when he gonna find me. But then also it's like you have to get out. When you're in church so much, I'm like, you're not gonna find your man always in church. No. You have to go places.
Yes.
You cannot just be in church and think you're going to find him. But then on the other hand, I will say that sometimes the preachers be preaching like, he going to come. Well, child, they've been waiting for 50 years.
Yeah, when's he coming?
So I feel like that's a hard...
And I think the preachers focus too much on that. Especially for women. I've never heard them preach about your wife is on. They don't really do a lot of that. But it's always your husband's on the way. Wait on your Boaz and all that.
It's like, where is the Boaz?
Yeah, where is he?
Literally, but that's why I was like, I'm not waiting. Like, I'm traveling, I'm living my life, I'm starting my businesses, and they're gonna find me. That's what you're gonna do. And so I think sometimes people wait till like, I'm gonna do this when I get married. Now I do say I'm gonna wait to buy a house when I get married. That's because I don't want to pay for that house.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm gonna live. I don't want to pay for it. That's all it is. But like, I'm not gonna wait to go to Dubai or go now. Maybe Maldives if it's kind of expensive. But I'm not gonna wait to go to Jamaica. I'm not gonna wait to go to Miami. I'm not gonna wait to go to like it's not like. I'm not gonna wait. Right. I mean, besides having children, I'm not gonna wait to like live my life and do things, and then feel bad. And it's like because then also people are getting married older and stuff like that. You have a whole life to talk about things. If you're just waiting, just going to church, where's your personality? What do you have to talk about? Like what
are your hobbies?
Yes.
Like what do you bring into the table? Like get out. Go to a play, take a book, and go sit at the golf house here in Louisville and read the book. In the foyer or whatever. Just get out and do stuff.
Yes. I agree with that. Yeah. So it's a church in general. So what lessons from church still serve you, and which ones do you feel like you have outgrown?
Community is huge for me, and just my faith. That has never wavered. My faith in God, but community for me is a big deal. That feeling of being a part of something bigger than me. The things that don't serve me anymore. What I wear, y'all, let that go. What's going on in the bedroom, let that go.
What do you mean by that?
Because you hear a lot of preachers always talk about things that are going on in the bed, who people sleeping with, and who people love, and to me that doesn't belong across the pulpit.
Okay.
Stop preaching about what's going on in people's bedrooms. That is why are we doing that?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I heard that, but
okay. Oh, they love to preach about it.
Yeah. I don't know why. I will say I go to church some days. Okay. I go to some Sundays. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I wanted to ask you, to add a part, do you feel like when you were in those marriages, you were talking about the like kind of safe face, did they ever tell you like go to couples therapy, go to therapy? Like did you ever do that? We did not do that. Okay. Again, the first marriage it only lasted like 3 years. I was 20. I was young. It was, I'm 20. I'm in church. He played the organ. The musicians will get you. I was gonna say the musicians. They drum. Don't believe them. Okay, we're supposed to get married. Because we're in church and we're young. And and we want to have sex. And something like that.
Yeah. And we weren't ready. We weren't ready for that.
So there was no couples therapy, but for that one, you just got
divorced. It was just like, we didn't know what we was doing. Child, that was doomed from the start. I wore a black dress on the wedding day. Come on with that. That was a mess.
Black dress?
It was a prom dress.
A prom dress for the wedding? Okay.
Girl, that was doomed from the start.
I'm cracking up. That is so funny. I was like, because, sometimes they're talking about therapy more in church now. But I was wondering, like, if they talked about that. Or, like, they talk about pre-marriage counseling. They do talk about that. But I don't know if they talk about, like, couples therapy. That's
they don't. Now, they will stress premarital counseling. But they don't really, I've not heard anyone stress having counseling while you're married.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Did you do pre-marriage counseling?
No, we did. Yeah, but, okay. This is with a pastor, and it's you gonna clean the house, and you know what I'm saying? It's very gender roles. And
that's what I was gonna ask you too. I was gonna ask about that kind of pre-marriage. What do you recommend pre-marriage for people?
And I recommend it if possible. Not your pastor. Go to an actual counselor and somebody who is trained in that, an actual therapist, and do premarital counseling.
Do you feel like gender roles?
That's. I think that's what they focused on a lot. They didn't talk about like how you want to manage your finances. And the second marriage was a blended family. He had kids, I had kids.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't even talk about how we're going to manage this blended family. You know, am I going to be okay with him disciplining my kids? Is he okay with me disciplining? You know, so those
that's
are
why I can't be married.
Yeah, those are things that need to be talked about.
And on the flip side, that is interesting because I'd be like, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to be splitting no bills with.
Right.
It sounds horrible, but don't want to like split. You're splitting your money all the way across. But I'm like, some people don't think about that. It's like if you don't have no kids, I don't have also have no kids. Why would I want to be with a man that has 3 kids? No shade, no teeth.
Yeah, but that's your choice.
That's 3
child support payments that's coming out of my house.
Come on.
There's some trips I can't take.
Okay, thank you. Like, I'm saying, like, sometimes, and when you talk about, like, well, necessarily, when I'm thinking about equally yoked and stuff like that, like, that's kind of something that I talk about. If that's not the right term for that, it's okay. But I think about different things like that, and I think that some people don't think about that because it's like, women are just like, oh, I want to find a man, And not saying that men with 3 kids aren't good, but sometimes you got to watch the ones who do take care of the kids and who don't take care of the kids. Okay, y'all.
Like, and you just got to know what you're getting into with that person. And don't jump into marriage because, especially in church, don't jump into marriage just because he goes to church. Yeah. Don't jump into marriage just because he's a minister or a pastor or whatever. Everybody brings baggage. Everybody has trauma. Make sure these people have worked through as much of it as they can and are willing to work through even more. Because you're bringing 2 personalities together in a house. Like, know the person that you're going to marry. Yeah. And that's know them well.
Yeah, really, and that is so hard as well. I would say some lessons from church that kind of still serve me, and which ones that don't serve me. I'm really trying to think of different lessons. I think what I was saying earlier, like my morals and like how to treat people, like they'll still serve me well. Like I do like the community aspect. I don't really have a church home right now because I kind of relocated, so I don't really have that. So I feel like, but I do want that, like a community, you know, to talk to people and stuff like that. So I feel like those lessons were really good, like being able to have community, being able to like go somewhere and be like, okay, I'm gonna be here. I know like these people I can lean on and stuff like that. And then also like how to treat people, what to talk about, different things like that. Right. And I would say, which ones have you outgrown going to church every Sunday? Right.
I think COVID did that for a lot of people.
Yeah, I was not on. And I'm a virtual. My dad said you need to be in church, but I'm like, I like to. I like to go online because it is like, honestly, it is like that one rest day. It's like, okay, I love slow weekends. Like, I don't have to rush and go and stuff like that. So I feel like you can get the same word in person. Yes. I mean, in person as you can get virtually. Yeah. And I think also it can kind of look like you could do like a Bible study with some people. Like, I know people who have done Bible studies together. So it's like you can kind of do different things. Yeah. You know.
Church is 2025. We got to look at churches in different ways.
Yeah,
it's not the same as it was with our grandparents or even our parents. We got too much technology.
Way too much. I could watch the Potter House. Yeah, in LA or Dallas.
Yeah, I watch Jamal Bryant every Sunday morning before I go to my own church.
Oh, you
so do? It's like people now have virtual members. You can be an actual member and not even be in that city.
That is true. So that's why I think something like that is there. And also I would say, to be honest, I feel like within that, growing up so much in church and being around that so much, I feel like it's a difference because then when I did go to college, it's kind of like, I don't want to say I got away from my faith, but it's kind of hard to like, to the point of growing up in church, I don't really know if they talked about your relationship with God as much as they talked about religion. So I feel like with me, I do know more religion and religious versus like trying to build a relationship with God. In like when I get older, they're like, oh, you have to have, now it's like you have to have a relationship with God. Yeah. Well, you technically don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God. That's the community. And so I feel like that's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like, okay, trying to build this relationship with God. Like, do I believe this? Do I believe that? Do I have that? Like, kind of like you saying, like deconstructing and figuring out. But it's like, I definitely was raised religious, and I do have a lot of those like viewpoints on it. But it's like, okay, now you're like, okay, let's try to have this, like try to build a relationship with God. Like, how does this work and stuff like that? And I don't really feel like they really taught you how to build a relationship with God. They did teach you the Bible, and they taught you the Bible, and then you just listen. Like, but now as you're older, you're able to make your own decision, or like your own thought process and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of a gray area too, in a sense, within the church of like teaching religion versus relationship.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. Growing up, it was religion. It was come to church every time the door opens, pay your tithes and offering, don't sin, don't do, don't. If we were little, don't steal candy, don't lie, don't talk back to your parents. These little basic things. But I was never taught about building relationship with God. Mm-hmm. And one thing I wish church would have taught was grace.
Yes.
I didn't learn about grace until I was older.
Yeah. Now I hear grace all the time.
Yeah, and it was like God is this angry person who sits up in heaven and he's waiting on me to mess up so he can come down and punish me. And so for me, I got anxiety and I became this perfectionist because I didn't want to mess up, because I didn't want God to be mad at me. So now that I understand grace, I'm trying to undo those thought patterns.
Yes.
It is difficult.
I do see what you're saying. They don't talk about grace because they just want you to do this. Yeah. And that is true. It's like, okay, God gives grace. Yes. And you can have grace. And to another point too, I think some of the toxicity in church is like, this is like trigger warnings, but like if somebody abused you or sexually or physically, it's like, just forgive them. But it's like, it's hard to forgive. People are like, those are just, or that's your parents, that's your family. It's like, you shouldn't have to deal with that just because that's there. And it's like, don't disrespect your parents. But it also says don't chastise your children. I know
and it also says don't provoke your children.
Not chastise my man.
Yeah, don't provoke them.
Yeah, and so it's like there's different things in the Bible, but people try to use their verse.
Yes.
To be like helping them,
yes,
but then they don't know that you know a different verse,
right?
So it's just like that,
and that's a good point, because the verse for the pro, well, there's a verse for a con, yeah, and then you got to remember a lot of those verses they just snatched out of context. One little verse. The reason we couldn't wear pants growing up was because somewhere in the Bible it said women shouldn't wear that which pertained to a man. But when you go back and look at that in context, they didn't have pants back in the Bible days. They had nothing to do with pants and dresses. They just, everybody wore a robe and some sandals.
Yeah.
That meant something totally different than what y'all trying to put on us.
Yes, that is true. And that's another thing. It's like modern day, and they were even talking about that when it comes to marriage. Well, why do you think they was getting married so quickly? Well, they was also living longer, right? Yes. But they was getting married quickly. I forgot, but the auntie said something like they was getting married. So it's like, of course, they was getting married quickly. So of course, wait till you get married sounds
exactly.
It sounds good in hindsight.
If I'm getting married at 13, I don't have to wait that long.
Yeah.
But you got to fast forward. People aren't getting married till they're 30.
Till 40.
40. So I'm not supposed to experience that
till I'm 45.
Until I'm 45. And then when I do get married, I'm supposed to jump out the ceiling and throw my leg and know all the moves and the positions and be comfortable. No.
Yeah, and then it's like, exactly. And a man wants this, but if a man knows all this, then he'll be like, I cheated because she
didn't know how to, or because she didn't love her body. Yeah, I know women whose husbands have not even seen them naked. Because shame was drilled in so much that they're even ashamed of their own body.
And then they're only using their body to pleasure their husband. And then they don't get pleasure back.
Yes, but we aren't taught nothing like that.
Yeah, it's like just have sex for your husband. It's like, no, a woman should be able to get pleasure too.
But I don't even think, I don't even think that's just a church comment. I think that is a
woman.
Black,
you think so?
I do.
Like where they don't get pleasure.
Where it's like we're here to please them.
Not
so much them please us. Now I think that may be changing.
I think that's a gender thing.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just a woman and men because women can't be promiscuous, but men can go out here and do stuff. I think that's just in general, like men ask for it, women can't say they want sex. So I think that's a gender thing with like.
And I'm glad that it's breaking.
Like a gender stereotype.
Yeah, I'm glad that that's breaking. Where yes, as a woman, I can say I want. I want some. As a woman, I can say, you didn't hit it right. So I need you to,
And so that's what I think, because even how you said, like, I don't know how it feels or whatever, because some people do get divorced and they feel ashamed and everything like that, but it's like, okay, so like, say if you don't get married again, does that mean that you can't explore pleasure anymore?
Being in church, the Bible says if you get divorced, you can't remarry until that person that spouse is deceased. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I know women who are young, their husband might have committed adultery, they got divorced, and they were told by their pastor, you cannot get married until they die. Well, they have gone on and got married and had a whole family, and they're still single.
The man who cheated on
them? Yeah, I wish somebody would tell me I can't get married again.
And that's what's crazy, because women really don't get remarried.
They don't.
But I know a couple men that got married less than a year.
Yes.
I be like, hold on.
and even though the wife may have, I know some that wife passed away and within months they are remarried.
And I'm like, huh?
Was she waiting?
Like, I'm like, it baffles me. I'm like, how are men getting married?
It's a double standard.
I'm like, how are men getting married? But then, and that could be true. I do know some people who have their spouses passed away and they don't do it. But and a lot of women, but they could be under that thing like, oh, I can't get married. But they deceased though, and they say you still don't get married.
People over policy.
Yes.
This poor woman is young, 30s, whatever. They're young. They're divorced. It wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
Why can't they find love and be happy and get married again?
Yeah, that's crazy. I know that you want, but everybody wants love. Everybody needs love. Everybody wants love, needs love. Why are you trying to shame this girl for getting married? Yeah. One of my friends, she was like, I can't get married if I get a divorce if my man don't cheat. I was like, well, if he's not being, nice to you or mean to you, like, you should be able to don't hold on to that because you did all you could do. Yes. Like, you did all you could do. Yeah. Like, I don't think that women should be shamed for leaving marriages if they don't serve them.
No, I don't.
Like, I don't think that it should be shamed, and I don't think that it should be like, oh, like, I guess, like, people believe in different things, but I'm like, I don't think that you shouldn't get remarried because you got divorced if it's not for what is it called, adultery, but it's for abuse. Like, and how we said it, so I'm like, I think that sometimes that we need to kind of think about it or like talk about it more because I don't even know, and I ain't been married, I ain't been divorced, right? So I don't know if they even talk about divorce in churches and stuff like that or whatever, or how it goes.
Those of us who get divorced in church, we're kind of and again, as someone who was a missionary in the church, once I got divorced, nobody invited me to come speak at their church no more.
Dang.
No, yeah, so it's like,
how did you feel? Did you have to like tell people that you got divorced? Like, I guess it was just like public.
So I was the jurisdictional secretary. Talk about the jurisdictional
titles. What are you telling you now?
I was the jurisdictional secretary, so I did feel obligated to tell the bishop, my leader, who that's who I was working with. But he didn't make it a big deal. Mm-hmm. But then once it got out there, there were a few people who were like, well, why didn't you call? Well, why should I? You weren't concerned about me.
Yeah.
Why do I need to talk to you about it anyway?
Yeah.
What was you gonna do?
Nothing.
Yeah. So, you got those kind of people, but for the most part, it was okay. But I have to be honest, I did feel like shame, like going to the convention, and it's like, where's your husband?
I'm like, do you see a ring?
Yeah.
Read the room.
And then it's like people, I had one friend who, when I told them, she said, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you?
That's good.
Everybody else was like, what happened?
Yeah.
Well, I've already gone through that. I've gone to therapy I've already worked through that.
I don't want to bring it up again.
And what am I telling you for? What can you do?
Yeah, nothing. It's already done.
Papers are signed.
Yes, the papers are signed. Yeah. It's already done.
Yeah. And we're good. We're cool.
No.
Like, I talked to both of my ex-husbands. Like, it's amicable. It's all good.
Not going back. But that's true. It's like, and that's another thing too. Is like when you have this image or things, like you gotta like tell people or share. Like, I don't have time for that. Yeah. So that's actually really good. So as we're wrapping up, this is our last question. Okay. How do you stay rooted in your faith while creating your own path as a modern Black woman?
Prayer, meditation, staying connected to my community, talking, therapy, journaling. All the things. Whatever tool in my toolbox I need to pull out at the time, that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And I think that my relationship with God is mature and it's at a good place, that I'm grounded. Okay. And I have good foundation.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and despite everything that church was not, it gave me a good foundation.
Yes, I will agree. Yeah. Church does give you a good foundation.
It gives you a good foundation.
And foundation may be a little shaky.
Yeah, and every now and then you got to go in and do some repair work or whatever, but the foundation is there. You just keep building on top of that. So.
Yeah, I would say even that, like, how do I say rooted in faith? It's because of the foundation that I got when I was growing up. Yeah. Now I would say, like, I do try to go to church more. I've been more intentional. When I was like living in Atlanta, I don't really go to church more out here because I work actually now, so I don't really do it too much. But I like being around people. I like being able to volunteer. Like when I feel like I'm doing good, I feel like that kind of helps me stay rooted in it. And while I'm creating my own path, like now even talking about, like I don't really talk about it too much about like, Christian faith or whatever, like talking to my friends and just like seeing what people are doing in their life, or like I talk to my friend, she's always like, God does this for me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, like hearing that, like she says all the time, I'm like, oh, like she really like her faith is strong, and God is like, okay, you know, like, well, my dad preaches to me every single day, so, you know, that's him. And so hearing it from him all the time or whatever. So I just think like being around people, but it's still trying to figure it out. Oh, because one thing I was going to say with my friend, because one verse that I kind of struggle with is like when it says, it doesn't say God, I can't think of it if it's grace or something like that, but it's like, it's something with like God, it's not that God doesn't reward you, but it's something like, I don't know, when they be like, you wouldn't be nothing without God, but it's kind of like, you're within the identity part, it's like, okay, it says like, well, you know, I'm nothing without you, but it's a little deeper than I'm nothing without you. Yeah. That song, but it's like I wouldn't have nothing without God or something like that. I feel like sometimes those scriptures, those kind of hinder people's identity. Yeah. And I wish I could think of it now, but I can't think of it. But I was having a hard time with it. I was like, God doesn't, well, no, I think it was like God doesn't owe you grace, or God doesn't owe you like blessings or something like that. Like, you don't deserve blessings. Like, God is there to give it to you. Something like that. Like,
I would say we don't earn anything.
You don't earn grace or something like that. Yeah, you don't earn it.
But God gives it to us freely.
Yes. We
don't have to work for it. That's another thing.
Oh, you don't deserve. I think they'd be like, you don't deserve it. And I really had a hard time with like, you don't deserve
that in the Bible. About us deserving it.
I don't know if the deserve is the right word. I think I'm using the wrong word. Okay. But I can't remember. But it was something around that about like, well, I guess it is like you don't earn it. Like, it just gives it to you.
We can't earn it.
And so I guess when I hear that, it's like, oh, you don't earn it, but it's like, hey, God gives it to you. I was having a real kind of hard like way to like kind of like process that. But she did, like, the girl was like, no, like you don't earn it. Like, you already have it. Yeah. But then it's like something like, okay, well, because when you work for something, you work hard for something, you get it. Yeah. Like, that's kind of how you do it. But then when you hear it's like, oh no, like
we couldn't work for God's grace if we wanted to. Like, we don't work for that. And for me, growing up in church, it was about what we did.
Yes.
Which is why we never were taught grace. We were taught you gotta do right, you gotta act right. It was all on me.
Yes.
To become this perfect little person that God didn't rain fire down on.
Yes.
But now I understand it's not about the work, it's not about the doing, but it's about the being.
Yes.
Being pure in spirit, being pure of heart, being a good person and helping people. I just need to be. God's grace is there. When I accepted Him in my life, when I got saved, it's there.
And that could be what it is too. And because it's like when you like sin is so bad, like don't have sex, don't kill, don't murder, don't do the 10 Commandments, right? Yeah. And it's just like, okay, don't do this, don't. So you're trying not to not do this, not do that, not do this.
We might as well be under the law. Yeah. But grace came so that we didn't have to live under the law. In the Old Testament, they had over 600 laws that they were trying to keep. Could you imagine trying to keep that? We can barely keep the laws they give us in church. Okay. But thank God in the New Testament we have grace. We are no longer under the law. Yes. We don't have to do these 600 and something things. It's like,
because maybe that'd be out, child. You can't even do the
barely do the right. We can barely
society.
We can barely do the don't
barely
kill, don't
speed.
kill. Okay,
barely do that. Barely can go to speed limit, child.
Right. So well, I know I'm guilty.
Okay, it ain't gonna work. Barely can do that, child. Be stealing. Like, it's crazy. So
thank God for grace.
Yes. Okay, that's what it says. Yeah, that's what it is. And that's so funny that her name was Grace in Girlies. Wow. I was like, Grace in Girlies. I was like, I understood that. I think Grace is like a pretty name as well. Yeah. So, before we get to our last segment, I do want to say thank you so much. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Comment and let us know your thoughts below and stuff like that, so we can share this, so we can keep having this conversation, because this is actually a really, really good one for the church girls out there. Okay, so our last segment is called Hidden Disclosure, but for this one, I want to call it Church Girl Confession. Okay. So this is where we keep it real, raw, and relatable. Okay. And just sharing something that you want to confess. And so we talked about it a little bit earlier, but like, is there anything that you would like to confess about being like a black church girl, like a black girl confession? But I was trying to say church girl confession.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't a virgin when I got married.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Who was? I'm crying. Yes. Now, some people on Instagram say they was now, child.
Okay, well, if you were, no shame. Yeah. I'm not and that's fine if that's your choice.
Oh, because now we're talking about celibacy versus abstinence. Do you want to tell people the difference?
Or do you? I don't even. I guess what
Celibacy is like the act of being celibate, but it doesn't have nothing to do with like being married, if I don't get it wrong. And abstinence is like you're abstaining for God or something like that. That's what I heard.
Really?
Yeah, you never heard that?
I've not heard that distinction.
Or maybe it's the other way around. I thought abstinence was that. I hear about it.
You just abstain whether you're married or single. Celibacy is if you're single.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Oh, okay. I just knew one of them was, I thought it was like abstaining until you're married. I thought that. And then celibacy is like you had sex and then you're being celibate till you like.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And abstinence.
It's like you're abstaining like
you've never had sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's funny.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I have to look those up.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but do you think that for the lover girls out there, the man got divorced, whatever they're looking, do you feel like you would ever get married again? Or
I want to.
Oh, you do?
So just because I was married and divorced, I love marriage.
Oh, okay.
I want to come home to someone. I want that partner to enjoy life with. My kids are grown.
Oh, yeah.
I want somebody to travel the world with. And, I work from home. I can go anywhere at any time.
Period.
So it's like I want that partner in my life. I want that special person.
Yes.
And I've told my kids, if it takes 6 times, y'all about to be okay.
6 marriages. Not 6 marriages. 6 weddings.
Y'all gonna have to be okay with it, till I get it right.
Okay, period. I feel that one. But yeah, so many people are like, they're like, oh, I don't want to do no more. But even that too, say like, people are like, not shaming them, but people be like, oh, I want this. Like sometimes you can't even say you want. They be like, well, just wait. It's like, no,
I know when I'm ready.
Yeah, like, and I'm ready.
Yeah, but I've been divorced 3 years, almost 4 years.
Oh, almost 4 years.
I've gone through therapy. I've worked through my stuff, and I think I'm ready if someone was to show themselves worthy.
All right, period. Show yourself worthy. Okay.
Show yourself worthy.
Okay, whoever watching this,
right?
I'm trying. I would say my church girl confession is like we talked about earlier, or whatever. I would like preachers to stop preaching to women to prepare for marriage, and they teach men the same thing. They don't teach men the same thing. Like, quit telling women like, oh, do this to get married. Oh, do this. Oh, like you're saying, general, like cook and clean. Like it's more than cooking and cleaning to get married. I want to cook and I'm gonna get a maid. Okay.
I mean, I've heard preachers go as far as saying you're single because you just don't look good.
Oh,
you do your hair.
Oh, that's rude.
Isn't it though? Over the pulpit on a Sunday?
Yeah,
and you're a man.
But are you telling men to get their hair cut? Are you telling men to pay for a date? Are you telling men to ask women on dates? Are you talking about courting?
But I think that's a difficult thing in church. Like, just for a man to ask a woman on a date, like, that never happened. I've been in church all of my life. It was like you just kind of ended up together. It wasn't like
there's no courting. Y'all don't talk about that.
Or dating. Because we're not taught to date.
You were not taught to date.
No, not at all. Like, what is... And even for me, getting divorced, I had to learn at this age, what is dating?
And it's so sad because dating should not be that hard. It should be simple. And men don't even know how to ask questions. They don't even know how to ask y'all on a date. No. They too worried about who gonna go 50-50 and to take you to ice cream and picnic. I don't want to go on a picnic and I don't want to do no ice cream date. And it's so sad. It's like, quit telling women because they know women long for that and women want to get married. So they keep preaching to women and women. And then women begin in these horrible relationships. They be paying for their husband's child support. Never.
And unfortunately, a lot of women are at a place of desperation.
That's what I want to say, desperation. And no shade, no tea. I'm not in my 30s yet, but I hope to be not desperate in my 30s because people are so desperate that they'll be with a man who would fight.
Love yourself first.
Literally love yourself, and they'll be with somebody who's not good for them. Just to say like I have a man, and then quiet as a kept. Everybody saying I have a man. I knew growing up, none of my aunts they was really married. Like you don't have to hold on to a man. Our man be cheating on you and be having two whole families. Like everybody want to be like, where your man at? And flip it back on them. Where your man at? Like it's okay. And so I think that's another thing too. Like women in the church have got to stop being desperate, but also go out. Like in general, women cannot be desperate to find a man because that's when you get the ones who
anything. You pick up strays.
Oh, pick up strays, literally. They be wanting you to take care of them. They want you to buy stuff for them and then take them.
And these are
out.
men in church.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking because they're not gonna go out. I have found in my dating here recently, I've met some great men who were not in church. I've gone out on dates with some wonderful men who were not in church.
Yeah.
I've not dated anybody in church.
Okay, she said bye-bye the churchmen.
I kind of was on that kick
no
too.
Churchman in sight, baby. No churchman in sight. I am cracking up. But yeah, so like, don't be desperate.
Yeah, love yourself. Take care of yourself. Work out your stuff and get to a place where you're whole and complete within yourself, and not looking for someone to come and fix you or complete you.
Yes, I love that. And on that, we could end. But thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely appreciate you coming. We talked about modesty, marriage, and morals. And if you want a part 2, let us know, because this is really, really good. Let us know how you feel about the conversation. Let us know how you feel about the topics, if you agree or you disagree. And share this with a friend. Share this with your church girlfriends, okay?
Yes.
Follow us on Black Girl Dem Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And we're on YouTube every Wednesday, so check us out there as well. And we are out of here. See you next Wednesday. Bye.